What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Top Rope Wrestling here. So for today's podcast, I have an article that I wanted to share with you that kind of got me pissed off. I started reading it and I was just thinking to myself, why would WWE do this? Now, I actually know why they did this, and it's pretty stupid because it really doesn't help the end result. So I'm going to share with you the article and then tell you why it got me so mad. So this article is titled, Update on Why Chris Jericho Made a Surprise Appearance on SmackDown. WWE fans are still talking about Chris Jericho's surprise appearance on SmackDown Live. WWE caught their fans off guard during the July 25th episode of SmackDown Live on the USA Network when Kevin Owens opened the show with an in-ring promo segment. By looking back on the show, AJ Styles walked out to the ring to confront him. Owens, who had beaten Styles for the United States Championship at the Battleground pay-per-view event, denied Styles his request for a rematch. This led to the return of Jericho, who had not appeared on WWE TV since he was written off the storylines when he was attacked by Owens on SmackDown Live in May. Both Styles and Jericho wanted a title match that night. Owens defended the U.S. title against both Jericho and Styles on the show in a triple threat match. This would serve as the main event. As seen in the match, Styles ended up winning the match and the championship, which marked the second time that he has held the U.S. title. This was a great surprise for WWE fans who turned into the show. Owens is expected to challenge Styles for the title at the upcoming SummerSlam event later this month. We have an update on Jericho's future with the WWE, and sadly, it's already over. Sources reported in the latest edition newsletter that Jericho was only brought in as a one-shot surprise in order to get a pop from the crowd and also used as a way for Styles to get back the U.S. title without Owens losing on television. Between May and now, he did work the WWE live event in Singapore at the Singapore Indoor Stadium and Tokyo, Japan at the Ryogoku, I can't pronounce it, in June. He competed against NXT superstar Hideo Itami, if I'm saying that right, in a singles match. Jericho will be pretty busy with his new book coming out in a few weeks because he'll be starting a publicity tour for the book at this time. It should be noted that Jericho is being advertised for the upcoming WWE Australia tour in September. Tour will take place on September 14th in Melbourne at the Rod Laver Arena, September 15th at the Qudos Bank Arena in Sydney, and Brisbane at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Time will tell as to when Jericho will pop back up on WWE television. So this is why the article kind of pissed me off. So the article basically says they brought Jericho back because they wanted to get a pop from the crowd. So that tells you right there. Well, we all know that Raw and SmackDown's ratings haven't been the greatest. They've kind of been declining because I've talked about this before, and I don't want to get too much into it, but it's the same recycled garbage week after week. It's nothing new. It's the same matches. Like, you could literally skip this week's Monday Night Raw and then watch it next week, and you would know what's going on because pretty much all the matches that you have this week would be next week. You know, it's not like back in the day where you wanted to tune in every week to see what was going to happen on SmackDown or Raw, who was going to appear, because it was totally different. Like, if you missed a week, then you were confused next week because you're like, oh, I missed this segment, or so-and-so came on, or they announced this, so you would go back and watch it. Now it's like, oh, they just had this match last week, now they're doing it again this week. And, you know, how many times did we see Sami Zayn face Kevin Owens, or The New Day face, you know, Sheamus and Cesaro, or, you know, Sheamus and them facing the Club? I mean, you've seen it a million times. There's only so many times you can mix up matches before it starts repeating itself, and that's the problem. It's the same week after week after week. So WWE decides that they're going to use their bag of tricks. They're going to surprise everyone. They're going to bring Jericho back, which is great. I like Jericho. He's a great wrestler. I love seeing him. But the problem is, okay, you bring Jericho back for one night, okay? Now, it's not like he was scheduled to come back. It wasn't announced, so nobody knows that Jericho's coming back. So it's not like people were already watching SmackDown and, waiting for Jericho to come on. So, the ratings have been slipping. So if nobody's watching SmackDown, you see Jericho come on, maybe a few people might go, oh, Jericho's on, I need to turn it on. Or maybe they were thinking that once Jericho comes on, people will start tuning in, and then they'll go, oh, well, you might not know who's going to show up. Maybe we'll start watching SmackDown. I don't know. All I know is that the ratings are slipping, and I can guarantee you that's why they brought Jericho back, because they wanted to get a pop from the crowd. But to me, that's just stupid. You need to think long term. They need to think, okay, not just one show, okay? So you do one show, Jericho leaves, and then what, okay? Everyone knows it's predictable. Everyone knows that this wasn't going to last. It was a one-off thing, so everyone knows Jericho's not going to win the title. After the show, he's gone. And, WWE is just too predictable. So they need to think long term, okay? What can we do to bring up the ratings? Well, how about you get better matches, not the same recycled shit week after week after week. Bring up new guys from NXT. Give other guys a shot at the championship, not, just Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Brock Lesnar. Like the same three people get a shot at the championship, and it gets old. And don't even get me started on the women's division, because that's even worse. I mean, the same people wrestling. Bayley versus Alexa Bliss. How many times have we seen that? Now they're feuding again, and they're going to wrestle at SummerSlam. It's just, I don't know. I just read this article, and it just made me mad, because WWE, they're not thinking long term. They bring Jericho back. That's great. Maybe that SmackDown gets decent ratings, and then it's like, okay, well, what about the next week? Now what are you going to do week after week when Jericho's not there? Because I knew even before WrestleMania, even before WrestleMania, I knew Chris Jericho was putting out a new CD and he was going on tour. And the last article I read stated that Chris Jericho was extending his tour in, I believe it was September or October, so pretty much they predicted that Chris Jericho wasn't coming back the rest of the year, and their predictions were that he would show up at the Royal Rumble, which is fine with me, because I get Chris Jericho's only a part-time wrestler now, so he's got other obligations. He's writing a book, he's got his band, he's going on tour, TV shows, movies, whatever he's doing, he's got other stuff, so he's not full-time. And to bring him back for one day, so to just randomly bring him back to get the crowd's reaction, and then pretty much not use him the rest of the year except live tours, that makes no sense to me. Like I said, I love Chris Jericho, and I enjoy when he wrestles, but this wasn't it. This wasn't the solution to their abysmal ratings. Okay, that's like bringing John Cena back. Okay, there's only so much he can do. Okay, yeah, some people hate John Cena, but he's a really big superstar. So you can bring John Cena back, and it might excite the crowd. You might get some more ratings, but you're gonna need to do something else on a day-to-day basis with your Raw and SmackDown episodes. You're gonna have to change it up, and bringing Chris Jericho back was not the answer. Everyone knew, like I said, it was a one-off. He wasn't going to win the title, so it's just stupid. I really don't know how to comment on this. I mean, so they accomplished what they wanted to get the crowd's reaction, and then what? Now the question remains, what is WWE going to do to change the ratings to make them go up. As much as I want Jericho back full-time basis, it's not going to happen. So my thing is, take Jericho completely out. Get him out of the live shows. There's really no reason for him to be at a live show because he's not on Raw or SmackDown, so he's really not feuding with anyone. So he's just going to have random matches on the live show that are going to mean absolutely nothing. So my thing is, get Chris Jericho off, let him do his book, let him do his tour, his music, whatever. Have him come back before the pay-per-view, or have him, be a guest entrant on pay-per-view. That would really excite people. He could come back and he could stay, I don't know, until end of WrestleMania or whatever, like he did this year. Do something like that, and, that might help. But for the time being, Chris Jericho is not the answer. Bringing him back isn't going to bring the ratings up. It isn't going to get people to watch SmackDown. It's, like I said, it's the same recycled garbage week after week. So, yeah, they need to do something else. So, that's pretty much it for this podcast. I just wanted to share this, article with you because I read it and it just got me so mad. And I'm like, really? You're going to bring Chris Jericho back for one show just to get the crowds, just to get a pop from the crowd? And it's like, okay, now what are you going to do? It's like, okay, you used all your bags of tricks, and so now they're probably sitting there going, well, we brought Chris Jericho back. Ratings went up for the 25th episode, but now what are we going to do? So now you got to scramble, and you got to figure out what you're going to do long term to keep the ratings up. So like always, guys, if you like the podcast and you want more, subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up on the video, and I might have another podcast coming out today. I found an interesting SummerSlam article that I would like to share with you because SummerSlam is right around the corner, and I am so excited for it because there are a few matches that I can't wait to see. So as always, I'm Top Rope Wrestling, and I will be signing off. See you or talk to you next podcast. See ya.